So, hello. Sorry that I'm a little bit late, but today more or less nothing functions. I reserved a room here in my flat in the conference room, and it was also not open, so I need to ask the person. And as you have seen with a WhatsApp message, so it's not possible for me to do breakout rooms. So I asked some students if they are possible that you can connect in the groups. So normally Teams works when you invite people, then you have the icon of breakout rooms, but this doesn't appear. So this is the reason why it's a little bit confused today. But anyhow, sometimes we need to have a plan B, especially when we are doing international business. So when there's not the normal strategy functions, then we need to look for another one. So there are also studies by Henry Mintzberg. Henry Mintzberg was very famous in the strategy field. And he also talks about, for example, intended strategies or deliberate strategies. And also in this case, we need to find a different way now of handling the situation. So I'm sorry for that, but perhaps we have a couple of students inside. For example, I've seen Mrs. Hochstein. So are you also capable of doing a room, whatever you have, if it is Zoom or Teams? So could you establish a room?
Yes, I could. I was just opening up a chat, so
Okay.
get people to that one.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't have the email of two persons, so I can invite.
Okay. So let's see if they are here already today. I mean, I have invited a lot of people. Yeah. So let me check about the lists of the students. Yeah, Mr. Hub, you have a question.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Ruby. As I wrote you, I think it was yesterday, I didn't receive any email or any message from the other person out of our team. So there was no possibility for us to share the text and to read together. So I have no email as well, so I can't open a room or something.
So let me check again. I think it is in the. Okay, you're not in the WhatsApp. So let me check. So Mrs. So here are all the group leaders. For example, let me share it. So we have a couple of different. Check it here. So here we have different rooms or different people. Yeah, Mrs. Jill, you also have raised the hand.
Yeah, nobody texted me either. So
okay.
Justus and I are the only people.
Okay. So let's focus that perhaps we look who is already inside. Some people might have left also this program, but we will see it today. So let's focus on each student who is here. Yeah, Mrs. Kunke.
We have the same issue.
Okay.
Nope. Contacted us.
Okay. So I've written it in the. You're not in the WhatsApp group, so I tried it. But anyhow, then perhaps if there is one or two of you, and I'm looking who's going to come, because it is also a matter of time right now. No? So in Bahamas, it is 3 hours ahead of from my time. So I have 6:30. So there's 9:30. So people are perhaps also working. And in India, perhaps it is 4 or 5 p.m. So, but we will see. Perhaps people will also come a little bit later. So I'm not sure. So let's check who's in the room. No? So it's Mrs. Zimmermann is there, Mr. Hub, Mrs. Davenport, Mr. Dorendorf, Miss Grob, Robens, Justus Sobotka, Lars Brö, Maria Fuchs. So you are all from my German students. Michael Gobar, he's in Slovenia. So yeah, can you also say something?
Hello.
Yeah, hello. So let's see who will be also in your group, or if people will join. Then we have Mr. Meyer, Mr. Kestner, Mr. Bisht from India, Shanai Kala from Bahamas. So let's see who will join also a little bit later. So yeah, I can also make a message again in this WhatsApp group with the others if people are joining now. So normally there should be many more. I mean, so let us wait a couple of minutes, and if perhaps not so many others will join, then perhaps we can also mix up the groups with the topics that you are talking to the other one about, what you have read, what you have prepared, that because sometimes perhaps when you're only one or two persons, then perhaps it doesn't function, but because you have prepared and that you get to know the other topic. So we had 9 different topics, and I mean, Shanaika is there. Perhaps let me check. So Shanaika, which group are you?
Group 9.
In the group 9. Yeah. Okay. So group. Let me check in my WhatsApp, because now I also need to make it simultaneously.
I'm in group 9.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So group 9 is Pitt, Joshua Kestner, and you. Perhaps you both can already go into a different room, and perhaps that we are not making it 1 hour when we don't have so many students, but perhaps we can make it half an hour, that you talk about what you read, that you talk about so what is leading global business teams about, and that you perhaps have a little bit to present after 30 minutes. So the responsible person is Pitt Joshua Kestner. So Shanaika, so you have the email address from him that you can, or perhaps Mr. Kestner can also write it here, that you have it there inside. Can you, Mr. Kestner, can you just put it? Mr. Hub, you have something.
Yes, I just wanted to ask, because it was quite a lot of text, and also we have this like intercultural teamwork what we're trying to do now. So I was just I just wanted to ask if we maybe like could get more than half an hour, because I think half an hour is pretty not enough.
Okay. So what would be fine? 45 minutes or 1 hour?
Yeah, I would say like 45 minutes to 1 hour would be fine.
Okay, then we make 1 hour. Perhaps it might be that some other people will join. I will write it in the email, in the WhatsApp that we are now in the session. Yeah. Okay. So Mr. Hub, you are together with Mrs. Zimmermann, Satyam Kumar Thakur, and Ajia Mekhadi. Ajia Mekhadi, I've written yesterday. She did not respond. And Satyam, I can contact now. That perhaps you from group 8 already go also into your room. And I will,
all right, we can do that. If you,
yeah.
Sorry.
And I will highlight here, like you can see it here, the email from you. Perhaps that you check it each 10 to 20 minutes, but let's see if somebody will come. Satyam, for example, I'm in contact with him, but let's see. Okay.
Yeah, right. If you would send me the emails, I could also like send them an invite for joining our meeting.
Yeah, I need to look if I have all the emails, because I have mostly the WhatsApp. But I can have a look. I think perhaps from Satyam I also might have the other. But let me first do the other groups that they can start, and then in the meanwhile I'm checking it, and that you come back in roughly 1 hour then. So everybody who will be now going into groups, that you will come back in 1 hour and that you have a little bit of presentation. It could even be in a Word version that you said our text is about, we shared some experiences. These are the most important messages. The best would be if you do a PDF file, because sometimes people cannot open the Word file if it is written with different technology. I think you know what I mean, but a PDF file is good that you share this here in the group afterwards. So 1 hour, group number 9 will start, then comes group number 8, and now I'm going down with the other groups from 7 to 1, okay?
All right, then, see you later.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, okay, so let's focus now on group number 7, Mrs. Grob, Mr. Sobotka, you are also 2. Kesvara, I now left the program from Bahamas, but Gagana, I don't know. Perhaps I will also try to contact in the WhatsApp. Okay, so you can also go into your parts. Mrs. Grob, I will then, if Mr. Gagana will come, I will also send your emails then to connect. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the next one is Elena Gerd and Svenja Carmen Kunke, 2-1 from India. I can also try to share like the same with Mr. Hub, the email address, but I will also try again via WhatsApp first. Okay?
Hello, Mr. Ruby.
Yeah.
Yes, Elena, I just wanted to say that I'm also here, but we have only one microphone, so Svenja and I have to share one.
Okay. Okay, but you both can do the group work.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. No, I mean it's okay that you also have this 1 hour to prepare. Conflict across cultures. Put out the main points. You can discuss it. Perhaps you both can also talk about different conflicts which you might have with different cultures, or by holidays or anything, misperception, and how are conflicts solved. So in a direct way, perhaps a little bit like the Germans, very putting the conflict on the table, or a little bit more now, you cannot solve it directly. You must find a different way of not harming the person, or not being too straight in the message.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then let's go. Mr. Robens and Mrs. Fuchs are here. Did anybody also from the other one contact you, Mr. Rachit Singh? I don't know. Is he here?
No, but
No.
He contacted me.
Okay.
But he is not here.
Right now, not here. Can you perhaps also write an email then? I mean, I'm also trying to contact him.
Yes, sure. I'll give it a try.
Okay, so you are also come back cross-cultural communication. I think it is a relevant topic. No, you and Mrs. Fuchs can. You have some experiences from Australia and some others, but perhaps you can also try to give it with experiences as well. No?
Yes.
And then roughly a one-pager. No? So something on PDF or any PDF file about what the text is about. Perhaps highlight which text might be good to read or with good information, and how you can apply it. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Then Mr. Dorendorf, Mr. Quint, you are in group number 4.
Yeah, hello. Mr.
Hello.
Quinn told me that he will join me later.
Okay.
I got no email addresses, no
Okay.
contact, nothing. So
Okay. But press start and once again come back in 1 hour. No?
yeah, but you need please to contact the others for me.
I'm doing it.
Okay.
I will do
Okay.
it.
Nice.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Goba, I think you are the lucky guy because you have Miss Davenport, Mr. Meyer. So you have a good group to work together. And can you open up any Zoom or Teams in order to invite the 2 others?
That's great that have I good members in my team, but I don't know if I can do it
Okay, perhaps Mr. Meyer or Mrs. Davenport, can you establish and invite Mr. Gruber?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I will give it a try. So I just need his email address. Maybe I can see it here in this chat.
Yeah, it is highlighted here. So please invite
Ah.
Mr. Gruber from Slovenia. And then where are you exactly in Slovenia? In Maribor or in Ljubljana?
I am in Murska Sobota.
Murska, oh, this one I know. I have been there in Murska Sobota for a festival. It was 2000 and let me check. It was during my PhD studies because I did it in University of Graz. And then a friend, a Slovenian friend, he invited us to, in the summer, it was any festival, but I know Murska Sobota.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
That's nice. Okay. Then there also comes some memories. Okay. Okay, please wait for Mr. Meyer to invite you. No? Okay, what about...
sorry, Mr. Rubik.
Yes, please.
So I will go out here in this meeting, then I will
Yes.
call Michael, and then I will call Eleanor.
Yes, and then one hour, please come back to this room here, no?
Yeah, perfect. See you later.
Okay, see you later. Thank you. I don't know if Mrs. Müller is here. Okay, but we have Mrs. Tonsing, I think, is here. Is right?
Yes.
Tonsing, Nicolene. Let me check. Is there anybody from your group here? Normally, Lena Müller wanted to come for a couple of time. Perhaps you can stay here then on this building trust, and we can talk a little bit about building trust. Okay?
All right. Yeah.
So Lena Müller wanted to come. I have her WhatsApp. She's also from Germany. Nicolene, I think, was also sometimes in the calls, but I'm trying to get them here. Okay. Okay, then stay here. Yeah, and Mrs. Hochstein, Mr. Bröhl, Colette left the group, but I don't know what about Upendra Hawkins. I also have her WhatsApp. Oyelabi, he's from Lagos. Okay, but build your group, and I'm trying to contact them. Okay, Ms. Hochstein.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So let me just check in order to get the people.
Well, I have learned the importance of trust
Yeah.
in the corporate sector, especially when we are a leader. It's very important to gain the trust from our subordinates or an employee. And also, in order to be a team player, in order to work in a team, mutual trust is very important. And also, when working in a cross-cultural cultural team, there should be an understanding of difference in culture, and then the difference in knowledge and individual differences. And and I've also read about the 3 elements of trust, and it was very good one. I've learned a lot.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wait 1 second. I received WhatsApp, and then I will be back. You contacted them. Okay. Elena.Gerhardt. Okay, now I'm back. Yeah, so I'm sharing with you. I don't know if you also had this text, but I'm sharing with you, and perhaps you can make some points in later, in order what we both can present. No? So did you also have this text here or not? The geography of trust building?
No, sir, I don't have.
Okay. But I will also share it with you. So, so the point is that we have different countries and with different trust levels. So we have some countries where from the society, people trust each other. So for example, when somebody is here in Northern Europe, now you can see, so dark blue is, there's Norway, Sweden, and Finland. So these are the three, and a little bit above is there are some other isles or countries. No, so but the big one is Norway, Sweden, and Finland. So it's a little bit above Germany when you know it geographically. Can you see my mouse? You can see it, no? What I'm highlighting with the mouse, with my mouse, or not?
Yes.
No, so this area. So here it is that people trust each other. No? So you have a problem, perhaps you have a problem with money or any other, and then your neighbor said, okay, I can borrow you some money because I can trust you. But in some other countries, for example, when you look at Brazil, so these are the little bit of brighter ones. No? So the yellow or even white, I think it is yellow, that these societies, they don't have a high trust level. They have a very low trust level. So the point is that when we have a cross-cultural team and we have people from, for example, from India, from Northern Europe and from Brazil, or perhaps from Mexico, that we see that it is very difficult for those people to trust others because they have it on a country level, even that they don't trust anybody. And the point is that how is trust built in different countries or societies? And for example, when we look at how is trust built in the United States, then you build trust because normally at work, because you have a good performance record. So you have a good diploma or master study or bachelor study. You show integrity. So you're doing what you're saying. Everything is consistent. So it's not that the performance, sometimes it's good or bad. So you are trust because of your knowledge, of your competence, of your of all of your achievements in the job. So you said, I did an internship. You said, I did this global program. I got a certificate. You said, I did a good school in India with a good diploma. Okay. So the point is that trust, for example, in Asia or Latin America or in Southern Europe, like Spain or Italy, is established completely different. So the US based, or perhaps in Germany, it is relevant that you performing good, that you walk the talk, that you say, okay, I need one or two more days, I cannot handle it right now. So clear communication. But trust is built more work related, job related, on specific task. So you're doing a good task, and this sees your boss, and then the boss trusts you. But the point is that trust in Latin America, so I mean, I lived the last year in Brazil. My wife is Brazilian. I'm now in Mexico, and these are Latin American countries. And here is trust built because you have personal connections. Because I was 1 week here in Mexico, and I was invited for dinner from a colleague. I mean, I've worked in Germany, and I was never invited. I was invited in a restaurant, but not this person. So this is something very relevant here. So this is relationship trust, social relationship trust. This is something like, I trust you because I know that you can help me in specific situations. For example, when you have a problem with your car, and it is at the end of the evening, so when work is already finished. And in Brazil, it would be the case that you are calling your colleague, and your colleague would say, okay, I'm coming to you. I will help you. You have a problem with your car. You cannot go home, but I will pick you up and bring you home. Or I will call anybody to fix the car. In Germany, or Germans would be, hey, I'm on my way home. I don't have time. Perhaps you call better a service which can help you. So, so completely different. So, and they would say, I have now my kids. I'm looking for my kids now. I don't have time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And this is something which is completely different. So trust in Asia, in Latin America, and Southern Europe is a trust which is because of connection. You know the wife, you know the children, you know the hobbies, you know what people like. It's on the personal level. And the other one in United States or in Germany or in Finland and some others, it's more you're doing a good job. So this is the main part. So you're spending time. Perhaps in Asia you're going to karaoke bar, and so spending time is a point. But now you must imagine roots. How's it called? Root? How do you pronounce your first name? Mrs. Tonsing, are you still there? Okay, I cannot listen to you. Hello? Hello, Mrs. Tonsing? So, Mrs. Root, are you back again? Mrs. Tonsing? So, Mrs. Ruth Tonsing, are you back?
Yes, yes.
Okay, because I was just speaking and then I asked and then nobody was inside, so I was a little bit confused.
I'm really sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just received a call.
Okay, just let me check it. So yeah, I don't know where you went outside. So I was talking about this American way. This one you had or not?
Yes, sir. I have read about China versus US, and I've got the idea, the concept.
Okay, so the point is that this in Latin America, Southern, it's more about spending time together, getting to connect, getting to know the family, and for example, in Indonesia, it's common that people go for shopping, and you can and they would like to see how do you behave to employees in a shopping mall, and so there they will get to know you. So not only how are you to them, but how do those other people react on employees, no? on people just buying some parts, and when the service is not good, perhaps that they will react and that they can observe the behavior. So this is something very relevant in Indonesia. So going out, I mean, in China, it's going out for some drinks and karaoke bar. In Brazil, it's about to make barbecue. And also in Mexico, it's about cooking together. So this is something to connect, but this is not something which happens in Germany or anywhere else that you get invited. It's mostly very formal, a formal dinner in a restaurant or anything. So the point is that how is trust built in different regions? And it is about, in Latin America, it's a little bit about that people gain a first impression, that people also like designer brands. Also, if you can belong to the group, because they invite you to the group, and perhaps in Asia or in China specifically, and then you can also talk a little bit about India, because this I'm not so familiar, but it is about also here in this case that there is respect for tradition, and also that people are polite and respectful, and this is not so confrontational. In the Middle East, it's a little bit also about family connection. So you talk about your kids, you talk about what they are doing. Perhaps the kids from each other get to know themselves. But in Eastern Europe or Southern Europe, it might even be different. But perhaps you can just mention something about India. So where would you position India? Or perhaps when we even look this chart here, what would you say is also relevant in India to build trust?
The performance.
So this is performance oriented, so a little bit like US, or would you even say it is? There's a difference between regions in India.
I think there's a difference between states.
Yeah.
In India. So some it depends on the performance, some it depends on the personal connections, and also the first impressions.
Okay. But how did you experience that? So you do you also study where you lived before, or did you move into a different city in order to study or in order to get work?
Move into different city in order to study.
Okay. And how did you connect with other students or at work? So how perhaps you can explain it a little bit better to me. So how did you know that people trust you? So what was the point where you say now people know me and now I know how they behave to me? So when was the point? Perhaps you can explain it, because it's completely different perhaps than from my German culture, or it might even be different to Latin American cultures.
All right. So I have been to different states in India.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I'm basically from Manipur, but then I went to the south side of India. So there, people are a little bit conservative.
Okay.
So I come from a place where we are really open. It's more like a American style where there are small talks and people are really open. But when I went to the south side, there people don't open up quickly. So in order to have relationship with them, you have to be really sensitive of their culture. What you have to think about what they like and what they don't like. So for them, their culture is really important. So if we do something against their culture, then I know they are closed. I mean, their hearts are closed. We cannot connect to them. So in order to connect with them, relationship is important, and also knowing their culture is also important. And then coming here.
But how do you connect? Because you said relationship, but what is it? Go for lunch, go for dinner, doing something at the weekend? Perhaps you can make some precise examples that I can better understand what it means.
Yeah, so in order to connect with them, we have to start practicing what they are practicing in their culture. For example, the dresses they wear. So they really appreciate when we start practicing their culture. Like for them, they love wearing sari. So I started wearing sari in order to connect with them, and then they love bangles. So I started wearing bangles, and also they give importance to their food as well. So for them, like biryani is very famous. Also, they like fish. So going out with them and then having lunch together, or maybe a dinner, really helps in connecting with the people there.
But yeah, but this is a little bit. So you adapt your behavior or your customs to them. But
Yes.
But is there not an open-mindedness, like saying, okay, so how much can you stay with your own culture, and how much do you need to adapt to them?
Sorry, I didn't get a question.
So the point is that you said the people trust you because you're doing similar things. You're eating similar food, you're dressing similar. Okay, but so is there not so much trust when you say I'm staying with my own food, and I'm not going to adapt my behavior so much?
Yes, if I like do my own thing, then they don't really appreciate it. But once I start accepting their culture and do whatever they do, that's when they start appreciating.
Okay, so it is more or less in one direction. You are going a step to them, but not so much that they said we accept you like you are, perhaps, and and then perhaps it might take more time. No? So
Yes.
So because I'm looking at this cultural chameleon, this is the only way to build trust, or is it also that you have authenticity, that you said no? So for example, so in my case, for example, I don't like so much rice, and in Brazil people eat mostly everyday rice. It is like that. But I'm also saying no, I don't like it, and I'm confronting people. I said I can eat some potatoes, I can eat pasta or anything else, and so I'm a little bit confrontational because I'm not used to it, and I don't like it. I don't like it. No, so I mean I can eat a little bit, but it's not my favorite carbohydrates which I'm going to eat. No? So I'm not used to it. My mother did not cook that much, but I also don't like it. So the point is that, and this is sometimes strange for other people. What is also strange in Brazil is when I'm going out and I have my lunch, and after the lunch I'm ordering a coffee. Perhaps in the United States, in Europe, 95 or not, yeah, perhaps even 99% are doing it, but in Brazil not. In Brazil, people drink coffee in the morning, but not after lunch. It is not part of their customs. I mean, you must see that in Brazil, the coffee is produced. So I think, I don't know, 40–50% of all coffee comes from Brazil, but there's no coffee culture. They're selling it, but you don't have people sitting there in a cafe and drinking it in the afternoon. Perhaps it's also people don't have a lot of money and they are not doing it. So this is my experience. I mean, also here in Mexico, it's quite normal to order a coffee after lunch. So nobody's looking at you like you are from a different planet. So it is always the point of looking to be authentic, to being a cultural chameleon, and the way of handling to build trust. So is it only trust that you need to adapt, or is it also trust because you're being your own person? So this is a question perhaps to ask. So when you have global cosmopolitans or somebody leading a global team, perhaps they are used to it. So, and this is what it is here about. It is about that you have a leader, and the leader needs to organize a team. So the point is that when a leader comes from Germany and you have somebody from India, the leader must get to know, okay, but in India it's common to connect, it's common to do things together, and here there are also some strategies of the team members, and to talk about, yeah, but trust in Germany is built this way, and trust in Latin America and Brazil is built in this way, and trust in India is built in this way, that also the group leader can understand the differences, because we all have our rucksack of different trust levels, like you have seen here in this or on this chart. So a question for you now, Ruth, how to pronounce it?
Ruth.
So Ruth, so for example, here we can see that India is roughly on 40%. But why would you say is the trust level lower than, for example, in Germany or in China? I mean, China is even a neighboring country when we see there's a connection between India and China here. But what would you say? Why is it a characteristic that the trust level is not so high in India?
Sir, I don't know.
But yeah, okay, no, it is okay. But this is a question. No? This is a question. I mean, it's higher than other countries. You can see it here clearly. But the point is it by society because people are rich and poor? Is it because of different cultural orientations, Hinduism? I mean, it could be part of the country culture as well. and as that you said, okay, the ones I don't trust other religious groups, and they are coming from this custom, I don't know how it is in English, but this different societal classes, I would say. This could be part of the whole history also of India. Perhaps you need to connect it to this way, and that you said, but in the north it's different to the south or the west, or the bigger cities are even different. They are more anonymous. For people, it's more difficult to connect. So this is something to think about. No? So first,
Yes,
I mean, the point is to think about your own country, your own culture. And when you understand that, it's more easy to connect with other countries. Yeah, you wanted to mention
yes,
something.
sir. So you are right. There are different religion in India,
Yeah.
and also some part of India practice the caste system. So there is a lot of gap between the rich and the poor as well. And yeah, and also different family backgrounds. So that is also one of the reason. Different upbringings. Yeah.
So, okay, so perhaps only one thing, and then it would be fine when you make some bullet points, because perhaps the other people will come back in 10 minutes, but only one thing to think about. The point is that due to COVID, it's more difficult to connect. And then you have cultures where it is very relevant to connect. In these cultures here, in Asia, Latin America, it is to have dinner, to have parties, to go out or have a tea time. But this is currently not possible because of COVID. Even traveling is very difficult. I mean, here in Mexico, they are opening. They don't have any restrictions. In Mexico, there are no restrictions. You can come inside. I mean, not with COVID itself, perhaps, but even this they are not checking. At the airport, they did not check the temperature or anything. I mean, when you are in Mexico, like me, my university said you need to go at least 10 days in quarantine, and after 5 days you can do this PCR test. So what I'm talking is, how can salespeople, or how can a new connection go virtually? How to build trust virtually? I mean, some people are making contracts virtually. I received my contract as a professor virtually. They haven't seen me. They have seen me here now 1 week ago, the first time on campus. So, but how to build trust in a couple of minutes via Zoom, and not shaking hands, not drinking together in the evening, not spending time together. So this is a critical question for Germans and for Americans, which are more job focused. The product is good, the machine is reliable, we have good test results, I'm buying it, and I trust you. So this is a question for you to think about. So how to connect between different cultures, which are more relationship oriented, and to make a deal and to negotiate. So what is your point on this virtual new world? I mean, hopefully it will change, but this is something you need. So how can I trust somebody virtually when I'm used to getting in contact face to face?
Sir, communication, proper communication, and also maybe information, providing information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, so about communication, but do you think it would be the same for others? Do you think others would think the same? It could only be by communication, or I mean, communication style, perhaps body language in the virtual session. So how would you believe in somebody? How would you trust somebody virtually?
The persuasive level. The persuasion level, the persuasive level.
The perception.
Persuasive.
Persuasive. Yeah, but how would you measure it? How would you measure the trust level virtually? I mean, did you have the situation? Did you have made perhaps in a part-time job or anything where you virtually connect and that you said, okay, I'm doing the contract with you because I trust you or I trust the product or anything. I mean, it could be mobile providers, but anything else.
Yes, recently I've been given an offer to manage the finance of the company, and I did not know much about the company. So I asked many questions regarding the company, how it functions, how many shareholders do they have, and many other more. So the person, the CEO, was able to provide enough information, and that's where I could trust him. Yeah, he was able to provide the exact answer for the questions, and by the way he communicate, it feels like he's a trustworthy person.
Okay, but can you write some bullet points perhaps that because we also need to present our topic to the other one? Can you make something what we discussed in some of your text that we have something to talk about and to share with the others?
So you want me to mention about the Indian context?
Yeah.
Of Indian context of trust level?
Yes. So some points which you can write a Word document and then do a PDF file, and I can also mention something here from the text, but that we have something to present. I mean, it's about that others have a takeaway, and a takeaway is mostly with having a document which they can look later. And I will also highlight that this text here is quite good. The geography from Professor Javidan. He's at Thunderbird School in Arizona. I know him personally, and also the other one.
Okay. So can I also add the points shared by the group leader? I mean, she sent some of the PDFs, so I have read some of them.
Yes, for sure. So make it as practitioner oriented, that you said this text is good or the other one is good, so that we have a little bit to talk about, 7 to 10 minutes.
All right, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right.
So let's see if anybody else is already coming back to the session. I'm not sure, but I think that they will join in a couple of perhaps 10 minutes. No?
Okay, sir. In the meantime, I'll make the documents.
So we will start with number 9 and then number 8. So we will go down with the presentations, perhaps.
Okay.
Okay.
Just waiting on my team member. He should be in by now.
Okay. Yeah, if anybody is inside, so in 10 minutes we start. Hello, Mr. Olodulopa.
Hi.
Have you been into your group with the others?
No, I haven't.
But you received the group leader in anything?
Yes, well, I didn't have contact info.
You don't have the contact, because I wrote there an email with all the responsible people. I can share it with you. Perhaps you can go 10 minutes inside.
Oh.
Here. What group are you?
Group 1.
Group 1 is Melanie Hochstein. So please write her an email now, and she will put you into her group. I will write her a WhatsApp that you are joining.
Okay. Which... Yeah, I wouldn't. Okay. You're asking me to write her on WhatsApp?
You can write her an email here, and she will invite you. I will write her right now that you are joining.
Okay, I'll do that now. Thank you.
Dr. Ruby?
Yes.
Yeah, how's Mexico going so far?
Good. Would you like to look a little bit?
Yeah, show us a little bit.
So I'm here in a very nice flat, and it is desert area. And in the mornings it's always cold, roughly 3 to 4 degrees, or I think even minus degrees. And at 12 o'clock it's mostly 17, 18, and no rain. The school is amazing. The school is has a really big campus, and for less students, only 3,500 students, but it will start on 14th. So my semester starts not next week, the week after. No? So, but very nice, welcoming culture here. And yeah, it is, so you need a car here. So otherwise you cannot do anything. Big shopping centers, Walmart, with big package sizes. I think I bought from Henkel a washing powder 5 liters. So this yeah, but I don't feel insecure, but also in my area there's security. No? So. And 2 weeks ago, there was somebody in the restaurants, and outside were people with machine guns. So it was a little bit strange. But related to Brazil, it is more modern. So the streets are better, the cars, you can see the houses. I mean, it is 3 hours to the US border. And a lot of mountains here around, and it is 1,600 meters height here. So it is, I think Mexico City is 2,200 meters. Every day sun, every day, and mostly blue sky. So it is a little bit different. And in the summer, because it is a desert area, in the summer it will even be more than 40 degrees. So I've heard that in the middle of April, yesterday I've heard it middle of April, you don't need any issues for your bed and any cushions and anything. So it is it will be going to be very hot, no? But you have everywhere. You have a heater and anything, no? So it is quite good organized. But the difference to Brazil is also when you're going into a bank. So in Brazil there are at least two people in the entrance with a pistol. So they have their finger as a pistol when you enter, and when you're going inside the bank through this security door, a glass door, where you need to put in all your smartphone and keys and anything. So then there is somebody with a machine gun. But here in Mexico, there was nobody. There was just similar to Europe. You enter the bank and you have some cameras, but you don't have security people. So this is completely different to Brazil. In Brazil, you have always armed people there, security people with weapons. But this is what you don't have. Related to the cartels, I've heard that this city here is more safe since 5 or 6 years, but before there were also some shootings on the street, and but now it's going to be more safe. You can see a lot of Indios, Indogene Indios on the street, because they have the traditional clothes, and they're looking for money, but I mean, you have it everywhere. No? So on the streets, people cleaning the car, and when there is a traffic light that they would like to sell something for you. I mean, this is similar to Brazil. No? So we don't have this in Germany, I think. I don't know if it is even allowed, but I was positively surprised that it is more economically developed than in Brazil. So in my area here. No? So I hope I could tell you a little bit about Mexico.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sounds very interesting.
So, but the point is that what people said me yesterday, it is that so my city is called Chihuahua, so like the small dogs, and they said that around 2 hours there's nothing. There's only this city here, and yeah, but so a lot of people live in this closed areas. In this, I mean, in Brazil you call them condominios. Here there is a different expression for it. So secured areas, but I wanted to live more in an apartment and not in a house, because my wife will go back to Brazil on the 20th, but here perhaps I can connect. So there's a nice terrace. There's this conference room, so very, very nice conference room. I hope that I can also, in our next session, I can activate here this big screen. So this I could coordinate. This I need to reserve in my house, in my flat here. And so it is a nice way of working. And but for the campus, I have 5 kilometers from here. But as I said, it's relevant to have a car. So there are some, because I'm having a class also on multinational companies of Brazil. There's one big one called Bimbo. Perhaps the German perception with this term is a little bit different, Bimbo. But this is a bread producer. It is the biggest one worldwide. So in Mexico, it is the case that they're doing a lot of trade with Latin America, but they also are doing some trades with United States. So 31% has been done with United States and 60% with Latin American countries. So the point is that Mexicans produced a lot in the beginning, but now they also have competence of engineering, and they also acquired sometimes companies in the United States. And when they acquire them, they gain more competence. And this competence they gained, they apply in Latin American countries. So it is a win-win situation. So because Mexico is directly at the border of the United States, so they learn how to do things better with marketing by acquiring. So they are acquiring competence. They buy knowledge, and this knowledge they are going to apply in other Spanish-speaking countries. So this is a little bit of phenomenon. And yeah, okay, but this is something perhaps we can also talk within our international business class. Okay, perhaps we can start now because people are joining again. Yeah, can we start with group number 9? And perhaps can you also share your screen, that what was most relevant in your text?
We prepared 2 slides.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Kestner. So how was the group work? Did anybody join then later or not?
Yeah, we were 2 people.
Okay, so you're only 2. So you're only 2
Yes.
Germans. Okay. Then nobody joined. Perhaps in some other groups, people joined later. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Please start. I'm going to shut down my voice that you have clear speech. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Please go ahead with Mr. Kestner.
Our topic was the biggest challenges of leading a global team. So we came up with language barriers. For example, I'm a registered nurse in a hospital in the Bahamas. So our main language is English, but we have a lot of like Haitian Creole that will come in the hospital, and because of the language barrier, they're not able to fully explain what is going on with them. So that's an example, the language barrier. Then time zone differences, because when classes started this morning, it was literally just 8 a.m. in the Bahamas, while with my colleague, it was 3 p.m. in his area. So that's a big time difference as well. Then when it comes on to family dynamics and backgrounds, because for instance, if it's somebody within that organization that has like the kids, the husband or wife, all of that to deal with, they may have a lot less time to really focus on what's going on in that organization in reference to someone who may not have all of that going on. They may have like a lot more time to really put more effort into it. And background when it comes on to like your culture and your beliefs on the way that you do things. Then we came up with internet accessibility in the Bahamas. Whenever the electricity goes off, it could literally go off for like 8 hours or more. And with that, we have like a whole nationwide blackout in the Bahamas quite often. So that will definitely limit your access to the internet to be able to reach like Zoom meetings or team meetings or WhatsApp calls or text messages in order for you to be able to interact with those members. Then we come on to communication skills. When it comes on to that, not everybody knows how to communicate a certain information properly or so that everyone could have an understanding, and then not everybody have that skill to interpret it the way that it's supposed the information given is supposed to be interpreted. Then we came up with like public holidays. Each country in the global region has different public holidays, so that may interrupt time for like scheduled meetings and meeting up and being able to operate business as usual. Then we came up with differences in like behavior and communication, because we may have somebody that is a little bit more emotional when it comes on to making the correct decision, or we may have somebody inside that organization that's very dominant and they want to take over and make all of the decision instead of being fair and having input from everybody within that organization.
But how is it in the Bahamas? Is it more an emotional communication style or not?
It will go on to like sometimes I would say gender roles, because over here it would be like they would rather like men to make certain decision, because they claims that women is a lot more emotional when it comes on to making decision.
Okay. But I mean, Bahamas is so close to the United States. So what are the main differences between United States and Bahamas?
That's the thing. Over the Bahamas, okay, we have a phrase where they say if the United States catch a cold, we catch the cold as well, because we basically follow or adopt, I would say adopt whatever the United States does. We adopt basically a lot of things that they're doing.
Mm. I was also trying with this global program to find a time zone which is perhaps suitable. I know that for Bahamas it's sometimes difficult because people work at 9 or 10, but on the other side we can connect with people from India and from Germany in the Central European time. So when you're leading a global team, you always need to look with a global mindset to find a suitable time, and not that people stand up. I mean, okay, I stand up at 6:30, but I'm used to it. I'm normally standing up quite early, but this is something you need to take into consideration. And for example, because in the program, or we will also do this executive program, that in Africa, or perhaps more specifically in Lagos, I've heard that the internet connection at work, and this would be 4 p.m. In the afternoon, is better than in their home residency. So the point is also when we are doing this, that we need to look that all have good connection, and mostly at office, it's better than at home. No, so I mean, I know it from Africa, because they said it, this is a good time to connect. Okay, yes, please. Yeah, move on, please. Thank you.
Our second slide is about how to encourage team members and how to manage a global team. First of all, the contact with this team member which is out of the loop can be increased to feel the presence. You can make information available to everybody in order to achieve that nobody is excluded. You can call them, text them, or write emails to make the person feel that he or she is very important. The leader can invite the person in group meetings to speak up. And if there are language problems, the person can do language trainings, and the leader must make sure fluent speakers make room for less fluent speakers during meetings, and to include the person during meetings when their expertise is relevant. As the leader is remote and unknown, he or she has to work on the relationship with every team member. The leader should be fair and respectful, and to make everybody feel that he or she is important.
So how much, thank you very much. So how much, perhaps from what you both have read, how relevant is it that people perhaps also have connected physically, so in person? Does it make a difference when you lead a team which you have never seen, like leading a global virtual team, or is it also very relevant to connect with them personally, perhaps like going out with them, meet everybody, because you need to lead them and you need to know them, and they need to trust them. I mean, we will have also a session about trust, but what was mentioned in this text, was there anything, it is very relevant that they at least have seen one day each other, or what would you say? What is your recommendation?
I think it's easier to lead a team and to communicate when you've met this person in real life. So you know how this person behaves, reacts.
Because I'm asking this because of the COVID situation. I have a friend, and he is now he's working at Schenker, so this is transportation, and he never have met his 8 people around the world because he couldn't go with the COVID situation. But this is also the onboarding to be a new boss in a team or in this global virtual team. It could even be also very difficult to build trust with them because you don't connect with them. For some countries, it's more on this job-based trust, but on some others, it's more about you need to connect. You need to go and drink a coffee. You need to go to make a dinner. You need to go out in a karaoke bar and anything else to build trust. So this is something perhaps you all need to take into consideration. Yeah, do you have anything to add, you both, from your group, number 9? Was there any text which you would recommend, or would you say this is a good one and a must read, or anything?
I think text number 6 is pretty
okay,
good.
So
it's
what
about
was the title? What was the title? Can you perhaps share it? And can you share your 2 slides in a PDF file and put it into the chat? So perhaps you can put it into the chat, or you can upload into the chat the text number 6, which you mentioned might be relevant. Okay?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for your group. Then I would say we will move on with group number 8.
All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen.
I think we have still one hour to run, no? So don't make it too long that the other one also will have time. But Thank you, Mr. Hart.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it really short.
Okay.
Annalena Zimmermann and me looked up the topic of cross-cultural leading. And what is really important to say when you look up when you're thinking about cross-cultural leading is that you can see that managers often have problems with an understanding of other cultures. That means, for example, if you are a manager in maybe like an international company, and then you have, for instance, to work with other people. For example, you got a team in another country. Then it's super important to understand the other culture to lead the team. And if you don't understand it, you won't be able to lead the team. In our text, there were a few different examples from international managers who had problems to lead the team because they were not able to understand the culture, or maybe they were not able to, but they didn't try to understand the culture as much as they should have. For example, there was the example of a Mexican manager who had to lead a team from the Netherlands, and he was shocked because in the Netherlands the people are more how do you call it, like egalitarian.
Egalitarian, that's right.
Yeah, because they're more like equal. Everyone is equal. You pronounce them with their first names, and he wasn't. He didn't know that people are doing this, because in Mexico, for example, so the text said it, there's way more like discipline and like a hierarchic view in leadership. So that just as an example. If you sum up, be open-minded is not enough. So, for example, if you go into a global company and you're going to lead a global team, be open-minded is important and is super important, but it's not enough. You need to understand the other culture. You need to try to think how they think, and what also is really important is to make them also your culture clear, so that they understand your culture as well. So in all those points, you can sum up. There was a called Project Globe. A few scientists researched all those cultural differences, and they sum up. They sum all the cultural differences they found. They sum it up in 9 different aspects. So, for example, there were like the comfort level with uncertainty, or the power distance, or the attitudes about gender equality. And I won't show you the whole project or the whole research in total, because it will be way too much. But it's just important to know, if you are interested in it, you can Google it, you can look it up, and you find a lot of all those 9 different attributes, and you can see how those different countries compare to each other, and which countries have, for example, like which countries are looking at it at the same. So yeah.
So thank you very much. So I will talk. So the GLOBE project. GLOBE is an abbreviation of Global Leadership and Organizational Behavior Effectiveness. So the point is, for example, in Germany, you have different attributes of a leader. And the point is that within this GLOBE study, they look who might be most effective as a leader. For example, can a German better adapt to India or to Australia or to China or to Brazil because of his or her characteristics? But GLOBE was mostly about how to lead Brazilians, how to lead Chinese, how to lead people from India. And so because they have something like this is most efficient. So the management by objective style in the United States doesn't work in China or in India because of the approach. And GLOBE is the biggest project, like you said, Mr. Hart. It started in 1991 and it is still moving on. So I have in the executive program, which starts at the end of the month, I will have one lecture of somebody representing GLOBE as a researcher. But I will also will give it to you in the group or in the chat, and perhaps you can also participate on this one session when Mrs. Georgine will talk about the GLOBE project at all. But GLOBE is the biggest project. I mean, we know from Hofstede, we know from Erin Meyer, and there is also this of 9 personality traits from GLOBE, and it is the biggest research worldwide for 20 years now. So that you just will get to know it, but you explained it quite good, but I wanted to give you a little bit of more extra information. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ruby. I didn't quite know that because the text didn't told me all those things, but it was yeah, quite interesting to hear that as well. The next text I look up was from Erin Meyer, and it was about the management styles across 4 different cultures. What you can see at the top. It's called the culture map. We also spoke about it at the last lesson we had. So I won't go into that in detail. But what's really interesting to see is that we got 4 rules for cross-cultural leadership. I think they're pretty easy and important as well. So I just going to explain them really short because yeah, they're pretty easy to understand. So first, don't underestimate the challenge. The challenge of cross-cultural leadership is pretty hard to learn. It's pretty it's pretty hard to go to understand another culture. So don't underestimate it, but you can get it. So for example, if you are a global manager and you have the problematic that you are not able to lead a team because of cross-cultural problems, for example, then you could take these rules and you could try to improve your leadership. For example, with the second rule, apply multiple perspectives. When you're going to apply multiple perspectives, just try to look up different things. Try out different strategies, how to lead the team. Look up all those cultural things which are really important for another culture. And as well as the third rule, so find the positive in other approaches. So that just means that if you don't, or if one approach doesn't work well, just try another one. So really, really basic rules, but really effective ones. So in the last rule, adjust and readjust your position is I think also really easy rule and really easy to understand. But all those rules are, I think, really important for cross-cultural leadership. Yeah.
Okay, so you have one more slide?
Yes, we have one more slide.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, all right. Hello, also from my side. At last, we have some tips for leading across cultures from the text that we got. So the points are when crossing culture, don't forget praise. That means that it's important in the way in which people is the way in which praise is delivered is culturally specific. So that means to learn the praise of culture of the local setting. The second point that we got is leading across cultures requires flexibility and curiosity. So which means to make an effort to understand the cultural background and leading across borders takes more than multicultural background. That is the point from before. That means to don't assume just because people are multicultural that they will have the know-how to coach a global team on cultural differences. So it's better to look for successful experience in leading a multicultural group rather than going straight for the most multicultural person. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay, so thank you very much. So there was something from Aaron Meyer, I think mostly. Yeah, could you also please upload it, and perhaps you have a text which you would recommend for the whole group to read. You can also upload it. Yeah, thank you very much for this group number 8, and we are a little bit tight with our plan, but now we are going to number 7 on the topic of negotiation across borders from Mrs. Grob and their colleagues.
Yes, Justus and I talked about negotiation across borders. Can you all see something?
I can see it. Yeah. Okay. Yes, please.
Okay. So the first text we looked at was called Emotion and the Art of Negotiation. So the overall problem was that people typically only focused on strategy, tactics, offers, counter offers, and not on the person they're talking with. So they did not pay enough attention to their emotions and how the people they're talking to react. And in this paper, research shows that we can actually regulate anxiety, anger, excitement, and disappointment. So everything that goes into having a negotiation can be regulated. And thus, it helps us to make better deals. Yes, and I will talk about some recommendations about all these emotions. So coming to anxiety, for example, people are more likely to be taken advantage of if the person they're talking to notice that I am having anxiety, or I'm talking like I have anxiety. And those people usually make weaker first offers because they're scared. They respond more quickly, even though they want to say something else probably. And they're more likely to exit negotiations early. And they were not happy about it. So the texts told us some points how to avoid anxiety. And basically you have to train, practice, rehearse, and keep sharpening your skills. And you should try to get comfortable. So if you're comfortable and know what you're doing and be prepared, then you're more likely not to have anxiety. But if you still do, it is maybe a good option to bring in an outside expert to handle the bargaining for you, so like a third party, to make a better deal at the end. Yeah, coming to anger. Anger harms the process by escalating conflict and biases. It reduces joint gains and intensifies, for example, competitive behavior. It damages the long-term relationship between two parties and reduces liking and trust. So how to deal with anger is mainly to recognize that many negotiations don't unfold all at once, but rather take place over a couple weeks or maybe even months if it's a big deal. So if one party acts with anger, maybe you should take a break and regroup later, so there's no anger in the discussion. Or you should consider reframing anger as sadness. Coming to disappointment and regret, it's mainly caused by the speed of the process, or if people took didn't take actions they want to take, so like missed opportunities because maybe they were scared or didn't have enough time to think about it. So to reduce the potential for regret is mainly to ask as many questions as possible without any hesitation. So the counterparty knows that you have a question and maybe it does not go as fast as he was going. Happiness and excitement are also very important emotions because you would think that expressing these emotions would be good, but like expression can have significant consequences for the other party, so triggers disappointment, for example. And the best negotiators achieve the greatest deals for themselves, but also leave their counterparty believing that they did a good job too, even if it's not true. So don't make the people think they did bad, because then they will just get even more anxiety. Yeah, and the tip is to be considerate and always skeptical. And overall, you can say that preparation is the key to success, just like studying and being prepared and trying so you get better at it. And Justus will say something about China now.
Sure.
I mean, okay. Just wait 1 second. So I mean, it is mostly when I'm listening to you, it is mostly about this. Sometimes how can you self-regulate you? So when you got a lot of anger,
yes,
or when you are perhaps too much excited, but what kind of strategies are there to be? I mean, you said to be prepared. But how can I prepare not to be angry? How can I prepare not to be so excited? What can I do? I mean, perhaps you personally have something. So how are you going to regulate yourself? I mean, people are making sports or listening to music. So how did you get out the big emotions?
Yeah, the text said, for example, that a lot of people listen to calming music before a negotiation because it just calms them, so they can think about their emotional status, emotional strategy. And a lot of people also ask themselves questions before, kind of like an interview with themselves. So who are the parties? What are the issues? What is my best outside option if we don't reach a deal? So like going through all different kinds of options that help them to reduce their anxiety and anger.
Okay, so a little bit to stay focused, or to calm down and to concentrate, or perhaps to get a distance to the big emotion. So the point is that when we have these feelings of anger or all of it, it's like being in the quicksand. Now, the more you would like to get away from them, the more you get them. When you said, I don't want to be angry, I don't want to be angry, I don't want to be angry, then you're getting more and more angry. So the point is always to find some strategies of getting a distance. And a distance you sometimes get when you get focused. So when you have a presentation and you are very nervous and because in front of the group and you feel that your knees are getting very weak and you think you think you will lose your stability. I mean, first of it is to say it is okay. I can be nervous. It is a relevant situation for me. The presentation is important, and it is allowed to be nervous. It is allowed that I'm sweating, that I don't feel comfortable, because this is sometimes the only way going into new situations is that you must accept that you have fear, that you have anxiety. And only if you would like to say, I don't want to be nervous, I don't want to be, it doesn't work. It does not work. So the first thing is to be your own coach, to say, it is okay, to be nervous. It is okay that you don't feel comfortable. This is the first step. And the point is that you need to focus on the message. You need to focus what you would like to achieve. So this own mission, what you would like to achieve, is very relevant to stay focused. But it is quite normal not to feel comfortable. And this is something you need to program yourself. It is okay to be nervous and to have anxiety. And this is the way of going through it. And this you must have 10 or 15 times. The bad feelings, but the point is you must accept it. Otherwise, you're not going through it. When you fight against it, it is like quicksand. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you said, I'm not doing this presentation. I don't feel good. But this is the way of going through it, because nobody in presentation feels comfortable. It is something you need to experience. Even big politicians and some others, they also do not feel comfortable, but they're not telling it. But don't think about all others feel comfortable. This is not the case. You can Google it. Some people are taking something to drink. Some people are exercising before to calm down. Some are listening to quiet music. But this, you need to find your way of handling the situation. But don't imagine other people don't have problems. This is not right. All of them needs to do something in order to do it. But try to prepare well. Try to stay focused, and the emotions will go after a while when you experience it 10 to 15 times. So this is my advice of taking a new behavior, but don't and accept how you feel. Accept it, even if it feels very terrible, horrible. Accept the situation, and you need to practice it. And after a while, it's getting better. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. This is just my personal experience also, and my personal advice for you. Okay. So please go to the next slide then.
Oh, we don't have a next slide. He just wanted to.
Okay. Then please, just okay.
Yeah, so we don't have the next slide, but we just wanted to elaborate on the rest of the texts because they were pretty long and we were only 2 people. So basically what the rest of the texts were just examples, and it showed basically a Sun Tzu Art of War style of negotiation. So know yourself, know the enemy, so to speak. And in that case, they chose the example of like a Chinese-American negotiation. While Jill pointed out the yourself parts and showed how you should behave in a situation. The other texts were basically about knowing your counterpart who's sitting across the table. In that case, it was China, where they said you should like structure yourself around their history, know where they come from. Basically, that there's Chinese people are very distant and have no problem with waiting out time, which is they're saying, which is coming from their background as farmers. And in that sense, you should know that you won't get basically mad at them for taking their time, for asking the same question over and over again. So, and one of their examples was that American negotiators were basically failing within the last second because they couldn't handle themselves around them because they got mad at them for asking the same question 20 times or so. And on the other hand, the Chinese negotiator is ruthless with a kind face. So the problem is that they won't have a problem letting the deal go away for their sake or for sticking to their rules, with having you screwing up the contract basically when you return to the headquarters because everybody at home thinks that it was your chance that you screwed up. So yeah, it's basically the playing the part of being yourself as an American or a Western man or woman, and knowing that you will be talking to a certain ethnicity at that moment will have a different way of life and will have a different history and therefore have a different negotiation tactic.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for this additional information. Yeah, please also upload your parts when you have a good paper to share. Please also upload it in this chat function. And now we will come to group number 6, Elena Gerd, Mrs. Kumke. I don't know if somebody else have joined you, but then it is only up to you.
No, it were just the two of us.
Okay.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So our topic was conflict across culture, and we focused on why are there cultural conflicts and how to solve them. So I will start on why there are cultural conflicts. One reason is that difficult situations are often avoided, or in a company, employees from different subsidiaries might fear that the others take their jobs. Another reason is the lack of understanding of the contextual differences. For example, people from the Netherlands are known to be very direct, and they wouldn't have a problem to criticize in front of other people, which could lead to a conflict with cultures who are more indirect. So a Chinese manager, for example, would never criticize in front of other people. And it is too common to rely on cliches and stereotypes, which can lead to oversimplified assumptions.
Yeah, and then we also looked at how you could solve these issues. And for example, when you're facing a problem, when you're going into a meeting, a lot of people don't really listen to each other and don't come up with a solution together. A lot of people already have a solution and then propose what they think, but they don't really, they wait until they can talk instead of listening to the others.
Yeah, there's one thing. There's one sentence in Portuguese. So the Brazilians are saying it that people gave us one mouth and 2 ears to listen, and this is something which they always say. So the listening part is the most difficult one, perhaps also for me sometimes. But this is something we need to practice. You know? So how to listen to somebody. And from other cultures, how to listen to their strategies, because sometimes we are not listening, but we are just directly answering it and not even get the message. You know? But this example of Brazil with a one mouth and 2 ears, I think shows you what is perhaps more relevant. Okay, yeah, please move on.
And another way to solve these issues is to develop a shared culture. Like we've already learned earlier, a culture can happen anywhere. It can happen in a company or even a small group of people. So just over time, a culture that develops in the group, that's basically one way to solve these issues so that they don't even arise. To do that, you should have informal and unplanned communication, because studies have actually shown that it reduces conflict. So you shouldn't just meet in a business environment, but also in your free time, maybe a little bit. And you should definitely get an understanding of each other's contextual differences. And for that, you could use Erin Meyer's culture map before you meet up with people from a different culture. And that way you can prepare better.
Yeah, okay. Do you have anything else to add?
Not really, no.
Okay, but the cultural map is good. No, I know that in some offices, when you have a meeting, that people check, okay, this is a German, this is somebody from India, this is somebody from Brazil. So we have seen the 8 scales also from Mr. Hub in one of the earlier presentation. So it's always to look about the differences, how to communicate, how to decide in a team, and this is a good way of looking at it. But at the end, once again, it's good to know the cultural differences, but it is more relevant of how can we connect? How can we connect between different cultures, what we have in common? Perhaps we will also have a group focusing on this part. But thank you very much for this group. And now we go to the next one. I think it is group number 5. Thank you very much. Please upload, and when there is a relevant text, also please put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I think Mr. Robens, no?
So, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. I put it on full screen. So perfect. Yes. So we were 2 people, both from Germany, and we had the topic cross-cultural communication. We had like 4 to 5 texts, and we just focused on the like 3 most important ones and added our own experience.
Okay. Can you listen to Mr. Robens, or am I not there anymore?
I can't hear him either.
Ah, okay, okay.
Me too.
I can't hear.
Okay, okay. I thought perhaps it could even be my connection, but this is why I asked. Okay, yeah, perhaps.
Hello?
Now we can listen to you. You were absent with the voice.
Ah, okay. So I try it again from the start. So our group had the topic cross-cultural communication, and we had like basically I think 6 texts, but we focused on like the 3 most important ones from our perspective. The first topic of the text was 3 situations where cross-cultural communication breaks down, and like just for the basic concept that we used, we took like the most important ideas out of the text, which we thought we should share, and added some countries for an example and our own experience. So the first situation where cross-cultural communication breaks down is when you have electing ideas. That means when you work in a team, in a global team, the participation norms of the team differ greatly across cultures. So that can lead to the problem, or to the fact that the communication patterns of each team member is differing, and the participation of each team member in the group is also different. When you have like brainstorming sessions, or when you try to achieve a certain goal.
Okay, so I have some examples now. The German culture thinks analytical and answers thoughtful, while the Japanese culture only speaks up after senior colleagues have expressed their views. The Australian culture answers unfiltered, and the Spain culture is answering outgoing and emotional. Our own experience is that, especially in cross-culture groups, it is difficult to get people involved equally in group work.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The second problem, which is appearing most often in cross-cultural communication, is surfacing disagreement, which means basically the comfort of public disagreement with another in the group. So when you would like to describe this as a situation in group work, you have like person 1 is saying something about topic A, and person B is telling person 1, hey, what you said about topic A is completely wrong in front of the whole group, and different cultures react differently to this kind of public humiliation or public disagreement.
So I have again some examples. So for the Japanese culture, a group harmony is very important. In Scandinavia, silence and unreceptive body language is used to convey opposition. In Spain, they are loud and emotionally arguing, and we think sometimes it is good to take a slow and thoughtful approach to express a disagreement to an opposite opinion.
So, and the last situation is giving feedback, where just like the examples before, cross-cultural communication breaks down. So, as we all know, constructive criticism is an essential part of a global teamwork, and it helps to better every person in the team and get a better result. But once again, depending on the different cultures and depending to whom you talk to, feedback is taken on quite differently. And in some cultures, giving feedback or the way you give feedback is also really important. And again, we have some examples there.
So in Malaysia, the people may not even feel like it is their role to offer direct feedback. In the Netherlands, the people are very direct in their corrective feedback, and we think feedback should be direct but thoughtful and friendly.
Yes, that's it. Like for the first text or for the first part, which we thought would be very important. The second text or the second thought of all these texts, which we thought would be very important, is that you need to learn the language of indirectness. Again, depending on the cultures and the people who are you talking to, people convey their messages quite differently. And sometimes you have to read between the lines, because not everything what a person means is expressed with words. So there comes into play the meta message, which is basically the things which people don't say with their words. Yes.
Yeah, so we think if you want to get a direct answer that you need to ask the other person precisely.
Exactly. And then the last text or the last thought, which we thought would be quite important, is like the whole reason behind the fact why cross-cultural talking or communication or communicating with people from different countries and different backgrounds is so tricky. So basically, there was the basic concept that you could describe different cultures like a peach or a coconut. A peach, as everybody knows, it has like a heart in a thing, and around the heart thing, everything is like quite soft. And that's basically the description of a peach culture. So you have like frequently smiling peoples, open people who are open to strangers, who move quickly to talk to you with the first name, who share like basically everything. But if you want to like befriend them, or if you want to be their friend, it's quite hard to get really close to them and be their friend. And the other side is like the coconut culture. So you have a soft inside and a hard outside, and that can be basically described as a rather closed up person or culture. It is difficult to form friendships with them. They rarely smile, and it's unusual that they talk about personal things. Yes, and basically it is important regarding each of the cultures that the authenticity of the person matters, and you shouldn't be trying to be someone who you are not, because then the cross-cultural small talk is going to be tricky.
Yeah, we have experienced that for each different culture, it is at first strange to meet and interact with the other one.
Yes, and that's basically it from us. I don't know,
Yeah,
do you have any questions?
So yeah, so thank you very much. I mean, you put in most of the recommendations there strategically. I think that most of the points are mentioned. So due to the time limit, we need to go to the next group, but please also upload it. Perhaps you can also upload the original papers where you have, but I think you could summarize them. And so this coconut and peach, I think these are good pictures to keep in the mind in order to see how the culture works. Okay, so please number 4, then the next presentation. So Mr. Dorendorf or Mr. Quint, I don't know. If not there, then we will perhaps move on with group number 3 and perhaps group number 4 later again. Group number 3, please. Mr. Gobar, Ms. Davenport, Mr. Meyer.
Yes, I'll share my screen. Okay, I hope you can see everything now.
Yes, now I can see it. Okay.
Okay, good. Yeah, so our group dealt with the topic adapting code switching. And first, we will tell you something about the main points of our reports. Then we'll go on with our experience or examples from the text, and then the key takeaways. Yeah, so in our texts, we learned that important skills nowadays as a manager is code switching, building digital influence, and dividing attention intentionally. Also that executive managers have to educate host employees about their own culture, because this is the only way to prevent stereotypes. And on top of that, they have to focus on educating themselves about the host culture and becoming more like them, for example, by means of a cultural mentor. We also learned that experience is more important than education, that you should reframe the concept of personal branding, because in the end it helps the company, and that you should adapt to local norms, but you shouldn't go too far with code switching.
But how would you define, or what would you say, what is code switching? So by the term, I mean, you're now going into the example, but with your own words, what would be, do you have a personal example where you did code switching?
Yeah, so it's when you change from one language and culture to the other, and you then adapt your way of acting, speaking, yeah, the way you present yourself.
So a little bit of cultural chameleon in a specific situation. Perhaps normally you would react on something or giving feedback or direct feedback, and then you said, no, this I cannot do because people take it very seriously and this is not the German one, so I need to adapt my own style. This is a little bit code switching, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yes, please move on. Okay.
Yeah, I can go on with the examples, but I wanted to ask if anyone else in the group wants to say something about examples or experience, maybe, so I don't say everything.
I would like to. I don't have an experience, but I would like to explain the skills that the manager needs.
Yeah, sure.
Is my voice audible?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, go ahead, Rito.
Unmute. Rito, unmute yourself.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, like now in 21st century, there are 3 skills that the managers need for the cross-cultural things and all. So the first skill I would like to talk about is the code switching between cultures. So, like, you know, sometimes even if people have knowledge about the different cultures and are aware of the norms, they still need to be very careful about it, because like when in code switching, they switch between their personal behavior or opinions to another culture's pattern, and that can be very exhausting. And this switching is so exhausting that it can even, like, sometimes we're not able to solve the problems or the issues. So I'll explain this with example. So Marco is an Italian professional and he's a manager in Indian subsidiary. So Indian employees would normally expect a very authoritative leader, but it's kind of very different from the Marco's culture. In his culture, it's not very authoritative. So it's very hard for him to cooperate. And when he tries to go with the Indian patterns or the flow of the Indian patterns and like yell on his employees for not working properly, he kind of feels guilty because it's kind of very different from his culture, right? And of course it can be solved. So like what he needs to do is first he needs to diagnose like what is exactly the problem in the pattern, or like what is like making him very hard for it. So after that, he needs to find the solution for that, or like he can balance his culture's norms or the Indian culture's norm, find a middle ground, and then through that he can work it out. And he should also be very acceptable and appreciate the changes as well. And I think that will help a lot with his code switching. The second skill would be digital influence. So yeah, this is the second skill, and as we all know that the technology has developed a lot, and the professionals in business should like make it very useful to the full extent. And managers, they should be very active in social media or platforms, as it can help them a lot with their work. They can ask help online and see if the strategies is good enough through the likes or dislikes, what the people think about his strategies, about his work, about his thinking and views in online. And building a good networking with others online will be also very helpful and useful for him. The last skill is dividing attention intentionally. So like people get a lot distracted, and usually they think that they're just getting distracted because of the technologies, their laptops, phones, or something else. But it's not always the technologies. Sometimes it's the internal factors that distracts you, and your mind wanders a lot, and so you get distracted, right? So, and also undivided attention for a long time is not a thing. It's not always perfect. You will of course get distracted. It's a human psychology. Technology is like what keeps you connected with the world, and even if you're like in a different space. So we should get rid of this thinking that the technologies are to blame for the distraction. So these were the skills that a manager needs to have in the 21st century. And if you have the skill, congratulations, you will be the next global manager. So that was it for my part.
Okay, thank you very much. It was just my perception now, because you mentioned something. So you have also spoken very fast English. So one time I switched off, but then I connected. So so in Germany perhaps it's a little bit more. You speak a little bit slower and try to focus more on the message. So this is my perception. I don't know about the others. So because this is right the topic. I mean, because this is right the topic now, no? And I'm giving feedback from my culture. So I mean it is personally now, no? But now perhaps the others might see it similar. So the point is that Indian people might speak more fluently because you're more used to English, perhaps, that most of us. And the point is that I needed to concentrate 2 times to keep on following you. But only something which perhaps when you communicate with Europeans or with US, perhaps you need to speak a little bit slower and find the message. Just because we are in this global group, just a feedback, no? So it is not a criticism, it's just an observation.
Yes, I appreciate the feedback. I'll try to work on it.
I mean, in India it would be great, but perhaps I'm giving you the feedback now from my perspective, or perhaps some other Germans would agree on it. I think I can speak for some of them, but this would be relevant to focus on less, but the main message. Okay. We have a global classroom, and now yes, I'm giving you my perception.
I understand.
I'm giving you my perception, so it is not a criticism, but it is something like we are more used to this in our areas, and perhaps you are more used to this in your. It doesn't mean that I'm right and you are wrong. It does only mean it is a difference. This is what I wanted to show. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, please move on, Mrs. Davenport.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Yeah, so we couldn't or didn't come up with any personal experience, so we used some examples that were in the text.
Okay.
Of course, after I've said or told you the examples, then the other people in my group can add if they can think of something else. So in the first text, it was Ritu's text, and there was an example about Sheng, who is a Chinese professional and starts a new job in the US and is told that it is expected from him that he expresses his opinion and even disagrees with his boss. And yeah, he isn't used to this from China, but he tries to put that into practice, but goes way too far with it and makes his boss mad and gets problems in the end. And another example is a large Thai corporation which wants to implement a new feedback system. Yeah, they looked at a specific system. I think it was called 360 degrees feedback system or something. And when they figured out that it involves questioning their boss, then they stopped the process because this is unacceptable in the Thai culture and they don't consider that their role to question their boss. Does anyone want to add more examples or personal experience? Otherwise, I'll carry on. Okay, then I'll carry on. Yeah, so the key takeaways for us were not to be the, Ollie said it, the German guy in Spain. So especially during work and even during holidays, adapt to their way of communicating, but on the other hand, don't take it too far. So learn how to code switch. Also educate yourself, for example, by means of a culture mentor. And one of the most important things, take any opportunity to gain new experience, because this is the thing that will help you the most. And also it's important to educate the host country about your own culture, so that from the beginning you can overcome stereotypes and work better together and understand each other on a deeper level.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for your group, and please also upload it. Once again, when there is a good text which you have read, the Harvard Business Case or anything, please also upload it for the others. Okay, now we have group number 3. We have this was 3. Now group number 2. Yeah, perhaps my team member can just present some parts of group number 2, building trust.
Yes, sir. We have Nicolene too in our team.
Yeah. So do you have any slides?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Is it visible?
Wait a second. Now it's visible. Okay.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Ruth from India, and then we have Nicolene from Malawi, Africa, and also Professor Ruby. Our topic is about trust. So I would like to call upon Nicolene to speak about trust.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. As Ruth has said, I'm Nicolene from Malawi, Africa. So first of all, I'm just going to point out what trust is. In simple terms, trust is a belief. It's a firm belief in someone. You place your confidence in that person that you're dealing with, or the different people that you're dealing with. And also I'm going to talk about why we need trust in cross-cultural management, or when you're working with different cultures. First of all, in order for anything that you're doing, whatever you're working on, in order for it to succeed, you need to place that trust. You need to trust whoever you're working with in order to yield your goal. And also for in terms of positive results or any positive outcome, you do need that trust. Thank you.
Okay.
Coming to the tips to trust between team members, we have noted down several points. So the first one is to understand the cross-cultural makeup of your team. So if you're working in a team comprises of different cultures coming from different countries, then it's very important for the group members as well as the team leaders to understand the people coming from different cultures and their individual differences, the languages, and many other more. The second point is to set very clear norms and stick to the team. Stick to them. So when a norms has been set, it's very important to practice it, not just talk about it, but also practice it, walk the talk. So once the norms has been stick, it's very important for the team leader to make sure that the organization or the team members stick to the norms and follow it. And third is to find ways to build personal bond. So to work in a team, it's very important to maintain good relationship between the members as well as the team leaders and the subordinates. So as we're talking about trust, trust is the main key for the team's success. So where there is no trust, it is likely for the team not to progress in whatever tasks that they have been given. So it's very essential for the team members as well as the the team leader to maintain trust and believe in each other. And the fourth one is when conflict arises, address it immediately. So it's very important for the team leader to recognize the issues right away, because if there is conflict and the issues is not being identified, then it's very hard for the team and for the leader to address the issue and solve the issue. So it's very important for the leaders to be aware of what's happening, and it's important for him to so not only him, even the team members to solve the matter as quickly as possible. And in one of our PDFs, we also studied about China versus US. So we know that China is a country where they don't trust people easily. So the default is distrust. So in order to maintain a good relationship with China, it is very important that you first, try to maintain a good relationship. And for them, it takes time. It takes time for them to trust a person and to come into a business terms. So they will not trust you right away. So you have to be really be good in your skills and do your work on time. They will first evaluate you, and after long evaluation, they will decide whether they can really trust you or not. And then once they trust you, then they will trust you for for a long time, maybe your whole life. But it is different in case of US. So US, the default is trust. So for them, the US will trust you based on your work. So they want to see the result. And for them, as long as you are doing the work, they don't have any issues. As long as you are fulfilling your responsibilities and completing your work on time, and as long as they find that you are trustworthy, then they will trust you. But if you are not able to, hello, is it visible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes. Yes, you are. And
all right. So that is pretty much about the first slide. And coming to next, I think, wait, hold on, I will share again. Is the slide visible?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so coming to next, we'll talk about 3 elements of trust. So first one is positive relationship, second is good judgment, and the third is consistency. So in order to have a positive relationship, it's good that a person stay in touch on the issues and the concerns of others, and also try to balance the result according to the concerns of the people. And also it's very important to generate cooperation between others. And also coming to the next is good judgment. So it's important for the leader to have a well-informed and it's important for the leader to be well-informed and also have a good knowledge about his work or her work. And also a leader must have a deep experience in terms of his work. And a leader must be able to respond quickly to the problems and also have a good decision-making skills. And the third one is consistency. So here, walking the talk is very important, not just speaking, but do what you speak about it. So it's very important for the leader to set a very good example when working in a team. And also it's important for the team to honor the commitments and also keep the promises. So here there's a graph that you can see the data. So this is a trust percentile. So you will be able to see relationships, judgments, and consistency. So when there is relationship, when there is a good judgment, and when there is a good consistency, so the trust level comes up to 80%. And when there is just relationship and when there is only judgment but no consistency, then the trust percentile is between 60 to 80%. And when there is relationship and consistency but no judgment, then the trust percentile reached to 60%. It's reducing. And when there is just relationship but no judgment and no consistency, then it again reduces between 40 to 60%. And when there is judgment and consistency but no relationship, then it again reduces between 40 to 60%, somewhere around maybe like 45%. And just when there's just judgment, no relationship, no consistency, then it again reduces to maybe like 38%. And when there's consistency, no relationship, no judgment, then again it reduces somewhere between 20 to 40%, maybe like 38%. And last but not the least, when there is no relationship, no judgment, and no consistency, then it further reduced to 20%, which is very less, the trust level. So this is all about my topic. Professor Ruby, if you want to add on something else, some points.
So I'm not sure about the other groups. If Mrs. Hochstein is still there, or group number 3, we also perhaps somebody can say something, because for my class in Germany it is now over since 5 minutes. But is there, Ms. Hochstein, are you still there, or group number 3, Mr. Dorendorf? It seems not, but then I will show a little bit on building trust, and then we close it, and perhaps we have also our session next Thursday. Again, it will be a shorter session than today, but I can share a little bit, which I also put into this group chat. I mean, we still have 16 people here, so I'm only going to 2 more slides. So like it is said before, in the United States, everything is about building trust, about work-oriented, task-oriented, about competence. When you have good competence, I trust you in my team. When you are integer, so when you walk the talk, when you do what you say, when there is consistency, what we had before in this on this slide. So this is relevant in order to build trust in the United States. You have a good diploma, you work good, I trust you. And the other way is trusting from this South American way. It's a little bit more on a mix on this relationship based, what we also have heard from China here a couple of minutes ago. So the point is that it is about to connect. It is about to spend time, to go shopping. In Indonesia, people go shopping with their new colleagues. They look how they talk to employees in the supermarket or in the shopping center. So they observe the behavior. So perhaps when you are new, you think, oh, okay, we are going shopping, but when you are rude to some other people, they will also not like you, because it is something like they will observe. Yeah, first impression in Brazil is relevant, that you also have nice clothes. This is what they put more. So I uploaded the text, but I only wanted to go on one more chart. And then we can also close the session for today. So here there are also some relevant informations, like, for example, Latin America, first impression, Asia, to be polite and respectful, respect of different traditions. This is also what I talked with my colleague in the group. So the tradition might be very different in India, related from the north to the south, or in the bigger cities. You need to adapt perhaps also a little bit your style of dinner, what you eat, what clothes you wear, because then people will trust you when you are similar. In the Middle East, it's also about respect of tradition, but also about when people are older and the family connection is relevant. So you must get invited for dinner, that people trust you. And perhaps in Southern Europe, it's also about sometimes you go with your boss in a discotheque, because this is also where you connect. And you would say in Germany, this will not be happening because there is more distance between work and life. And so this is not something which you are frequently doing. In Japan, you have kindergartens, you have schools for the kids. You are 24/7 connected with the company, with the people, but in some others, it's more distance between what you're doing at the day and what you're doing then in the afternoon or at night, that perhaps you're not connecting so much. Yeah, so thank you very much for the session. Yeah, I know it could be organized better with the breakout rooms, but I think we found a plan B to be flexible in the situations. And yeah, so the next session is next Thursday. It is at the normal time, so it will be a little bit not starting as early as now. I did also doing a crossover between my German students and with some international students here. Some people did not show up, did not communicate. This might also be a sign, but this is something I could only ask. And some groups were multicultural, intercultural. So I'm trying it also again, perhaps in a couple of weeks. But I'm happy that you are here and that most people stayed very long. And yeah, thank you very much. It is recorded. I will also upload it in the specific groups. Thank you very much for your attendance. And I hope that you learned a little bit also, and perhaps we can try it another time again. But thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.